Hello and welcome to the RainStorm with Ryan Rain. I am your host, Ryan Rain. I have the face for radio, the voice for newspaper, and today we're going to let the floodgates open on Karl Hager. Carl, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Ryan.
I just saw you Saturday, with the busy day at Pro Wrestling Bushido. A lot of work went into that show.
Yeah, it was a new experience to say the least.
Yeah, both of us were pretty much in, well, really all three of us were in new roles, really. Saturday. Something new for all of us.
Yeah, um, I took the role of ring announcer, which it outside looking in, it looks easy to do, but once you get in the mindset of doing a ring announcer, it's a totally different beast. Um, I thought I could. I mean, would I do it again? Probably. But I mean, it's not really my strong point. But I mean, if asked to do it again, I'll probably do it again.
Yeah. I actually did music the first time since 2006. So
Hmm. You didn't you do music for Livewire?
no, I didn't.
Oh, that must was that Cherry?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Sister ran at Livewire, so I
Oh,
never. I would set it up, but I actually do it during the show.
mhm,
So, but
okay.
very new experiences,
Mhm,
But overall, really good card. I felt like,
mhm.
talent wise.
Yeah, I thought the card was very solid. I mean, from top to bottom. So you had Kozone versus Stitch, Ethan Case versus. Let's see, who did Ethan faced? I believe that was
Black Baron.
Black Baron. Yeah, sorry, it's been a long day. The Hooligans versus the Washington Bullets. Cedric Alexander versus John Davis. Um, and I'm probably and that Seppuku match, that 6-man elimination match.
Oh
That
yes.
that that was crazy in itself.
Oh yeah. The opening of that match was just fast and furious,
Hmm.
and then it slowed down a bit. But wow, that it started out fast.
It did, and I'm actually glad that I don't know if we can do spoilers here if anybody's that watched the show, but I'm pretty sure it's probably already been uh
Oh
posted
yeah, it's
somewhere.
it's been reported in many places
It's
so
reported.
far.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad that James Drake actually won that title because that's a man. He reminds me if you take a modern day version of Stan Hansen, um, in the Indies today, that's James. To me, that's James Drake.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, granted, James Drake isn't blind as a bat and he isn't trying to swing at your head all the time, but that's neither here or there.
Yeah. All right, so you know, we've been both been in business for many years
Hmm.
and kind of reverted back to doing other jobs outside the ring.
Hmm.
Kind of takes us back to when we broke in. How did you initially break into the business?
Well, this is probably going to ruffle some feathers. I actually got it in as a joke at first. I was living in Tallahassee at the time, and I was doing MMA. Back this is around 2009, I believe it was. Back in
Okay.
2009, I was in a grappling tournament in Jacksonville, and in the what's it called, the halftime show, if you will, of the grappling tournament was professional wrestling, and they had this. I can't even make this up. It was a rectangle ring, ba- like
Huh.
three. I believe it's like 10 feet long by 5 feet wide, and yeah, imagine that if you will. And it was hard as a brick. But you had people in the back that had this little thing trailer in the back, and they had a bunch of professional wrestlers just bouncing around in it. And I said, "Hey, that's pretty cool. You mind if I get in there?" And they're like, "Yeah, have you been trained?" I go, "I mean, I'm a grappler, but I'm not a wrestler, a professional wrestler." They said, "Well, come on here. We'll teach you some stuff." So I got in there, and I started bouncing around with them. I kind of liked it, and one of the guys said, "Hey, we got like a pseudo wrestling school that was kind of like put with the MMA school as well in Jacksonville." And that was about 2 hours away from me. So I said, "You know what? I'll come over here and check it out." So I went over there and learned some things, and then another Fed called Great American Wrestling Federation started in Hosford, Florida, but moved to Tallahassee, Florida, inside the gym that I was training at, and they started having shows. And a guy named Steve Goins, also known as Mr. Pump Your Breaks, um, was booking at the time, and I asked, are you doing a school or teaching how to do professional wrestling? He goes, do you want to learn? I go, absolutely. I want to try this out. So we got in there, and this is a guy who will forcibly try to make you quit just to see how tough you are. And I mean, it's the same gym of my MMA school, so it ain't like I'm going to get up and go go anywhere else. So just had to tough it through for about 6 7 months, and then after that, I had my first match as the FSU's only professional wrestling Simon Knoll. Now say that name fast, you'll get Seminole. So, and that's history on that. And then after I got a job here in Augusta, Georgia, I started working here in Georgia, and then that's when I met you, Caleb Kitchens, Anthony Henry, Chris Wiggins, so on and so forth. And the rest is history.
All right, so the Seminole. I think I have seen pictures of that on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, was it a crappy gimmick? Yes, but it was cheap, baby face shine.
Hey, it's something. You know,
Yeah.
did it get over?
Oh, absolutely. And in
Hey, there
Tallahassee,
you
yes. But when I went to Jacksonville, I was heel.
go.
Imagine that.
All right, and about how long did you train there?
In Tallahassee, about 6 7 months. And then I started going all over the place. I would actually go to Dothan, Alabama, to a place called SXW,
Okay.
Southeastern Extreme Championship Wrestling. No, man, wow, that's no, it's Southeastern Extreme Wrestling. I don't know why I put championship in there. I guess every federation has to have a championship in there for some reason.
Oh yeah.
But I was there for about a year or so. I was practically there, going there every Saturday for a whole year. Um, and they would run shows in the most dankest flea market that somebody could possibly find in all of Dothan, Alabama. So yeah, imagine that.
And
Um, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just picturing something worse than the South Augusta flea market right now.
Um, think of something. All right, put it this way: the promoter says, "Hey, if you want to lay down some beds, there's a mattress bed there for you to lay on." You go in the back, and there's like cockroach infested. Like, think of and I hate to say this on the radio. Crack? Can I say crack whore?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Crack whore motels that you can have in your mind. Yeah, think of that, but ramp it up about like 2 or 3 notches. So
Oh man.
you can actually find there are some matches from that place on YouTube. If you look up Lord Humongous versus Lord Humongous, that's the same Fed. Actually, I was the match before that match, and what's funny is the match I was in was probably the best match I've ever seen in years. If you look at that Lord Humongous versus Lord Humongous match, so and believe me, this whole interview is going to be a lot. I'm probably going to get a lot of heat for for this interview. So.
I know I've done some flyer work, not
Mhm.
directly for them, but for someone else who was working there and wanted better looking flyers to be on. So I
Mhm.
ended up making stuff for them indirectly.
Uh,
AIWF and all that stuff, but That was a few years ago.
Hmm.
So you come up to Augusta and you end up with the I don't want to mispronounce it. SEW or SCW.
SCW.
Okay.
Hmm.
How did you find out about these guys?
Um, I was I wanted to get back. I hadn't wrestled in over 6 months after moving from Augusta, and I kind of wanted to get back into it. Um, and so I just started surfing the net, Facebook, see what feds are around. In a 3 hour radius, just to get my feet wet back in the southeast wrestling scene. I found them. They told me I had to get licensed, and that was the first time I heard of a wrestling license. You know, I've already been wrestling for about 2 3 years by then, and they're like, oh, by the way, you got to get a wrestling license. First time I ever heard something like that.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, I pretty much told them where exactly I got to get this at, and what constitutes of getting a license, and what I had to do to get it. And they pretty much pointed me in the direction of the South Carolina license regulation athletic commission, whatever you want to call them today. Um, so they put me in touch with them, and then about 3 weeks later, I had my first match with them, which was a tag match with um, a guy named Rex Rumble. And we were against recognize the name Rocky Siaki, especially if you watch the APW wrestling scene up in Bowling Springs.
Yeah,
So,
I do know the name, and I believe I've seen him before.
mhm.
Um, yeah, I've seen him. I'll leave it at that. That's about all I can say. Nothing more I can say.
Yeah.
So about how long did you stay with them?
Um, I started in June to 2012, and then they kind of closed their doors recently as of December 2015. Which on the last match I became I became the CW Internet Champion. A title that I've been trying to get a hold of since day one, and then the last day I get it, and I'm like, "Yay, I'm champion!" Now,
So, over time,
Mhm.
during the course of there, you end up teaming with Professor Murdoch.
Mhm.
He ends up coming in. Um, how did you two end up getting linked together?
um, actually, it was my idea at first, and then he kind of went along with it. Uh, see, when I first met Murdoch, he was already in the whole professor gimmick already because he's actually a legit school teacher and a shoot job.
Right.
Um, and I found out he was living in Augusta, and I'm sitting there like, how come I've never seen you before? I'm like, why are we wasting gas money taking separate cars? We should totally link up and just go up there together and be done with it. So we started driving together, and we were just joking around, like what would we like to see? And we noticed that we're both bearded and bald headed. So I said, you know what? Maybe seeing how we're coming from Augusta, maybe we should tag sometime and you know, go around other feds and see what we can do. And he goes, well, what would the gimmick be? I said, well, you got a strong gimmick right now as the professor. How about I just like, and I felt bad doing this because I mean it seems like I'm stealing his gimmick. I said I'll just become, like you, except we call him professor. I would be called doctor, whatever. Karl Hager. Um, And he said, "Yeah, that sounds a good idea." So he came over to my house. He lived about 30 minutes away from my house. And we sat down for about a good hour and a half, trying to come up with ideas. Of what should we call our names? So we came up with the name GPA. And at first we were like, what does GPA mean? First it was all like Great Professors Association, and I said, you know what? What we got to do? We should take the CM Punk approach. He goes, what do you mean? I said, anytime that anybody asks us what GPA means, we change it. every single time. It would come at something totally different, something random. I can't think of the top of my head with the other names, but the Great Professors Association always came up first. But we had our first match as GPA at Explosive Pro, and that hit off like you wouldn't believe. Like we faced the clowns, totally insane, and that people were saying that was match of the night. I mean, you had people down there like Blake, uh, Joey Kidman on there. You had Aaron Ryan, uh, a plethora of other talent, good talent on the card. But people were talking about, wow, that GPA versus Totally Insane match, that was crazy. So I mean, after that, we were like, wow, we've got something going. We should totally keep going with it. So we got in touch with SCW saying, hey, and we were kind of separate at the time at SCW. I was doing my singles thing. He was doing his singles. He was doing some kind of like tag thing with a guy called El Dorito or something. No, yeah, Del Frito or something like that. I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and just squash that. Just make it. Just tell him to come. Let's tag with me, and then we'll make GP8 because we sent them videotapes of us, tagging, and we had same singlets. We were doing the twin magic stuff. I mean, it was crazy. And I mean, and it was crazy good too. And it was over, and when it ended, I was devastated because it seemed like every time I got a tag team going, and it was going good, and it was getting a lot of good heat, not X-Pac heat, mind you. Um, it would always it would end abruptly, and I hated it every time that something like that would happen because why end something that was going so good? But I mean, stuff happens. Life gets in the way. Get other tag team partner moves, wherever they move to get a new job that takes them out of wrestling. I mean, stuff happens, and then you got to go back to square one, which what I had to do.
Right, and I want to put a pin in that because I want to come back to that here in a moment. But wrap up this little part.
Uh,
Professor Murdoch. He just came in, and I thought he was great. You know, he came in and he really embraced the hell out of that gimmick. I don't know if it's because he did it as a shoot job and he was able to just turn it up to 11 like
mm,
like you're supposed to, but he was really able to tap into something and he was really a heat magnet. And we never got to have you guys at Livewire due to scheduling issues.
mm,
Either you had something or and then he moved, and so was never able to get on the same page, so we never got to see GPA there. But I would imagine it would have been great. So
yeah, I mean, it would have been fantastic because I mean, putting us two together was like putting. I mean, I don't think this is the right analogy, but I'm going to use it anyway. Putting gasoline on a fire. I mean, we got so much heat, um, and like, I mean, it was fantastic. It was almost the greatest thing that I've been a part of uh, since I first started. To be perfectly honest with you.
I can just remember him coming out one day at a Livewire show, looked dead at somebody, and asked, "What are you looking at, you swamp donkey?" And I was just like, "What? What did he say?"
Y-
And I didn't think he could say that in public like that, but
mm,
that was him though. He got the heat.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. That I mean, when I first heard it, when I first heard about it, the SCW already made a shirt for him that even said that. Like it was like blank Swamp Donkey all over the shirt, and I'm sitting there like, what the hell is that? And he's all like, it's what I call people. It's like calling them stupid. I go, but Swamp Donkey?
that
He goes, it works. I'm all like, well, I'll grant you that if it works. I'm gonna keep going with it, but.
I mean, at first I thought it was something racist because
Mhm.
I don't know. I've never heard it before, but
Uh, I I think it was
Oh.
like something like back in the 50s or something, 50s or 60s or something like that. But he made it his own, and I mean, hell, you had Classy Freddie Blassie calling people pencil neck geeks and
Oh yeah.
mongoloids and whatnot. So I guess Swamp Donkey is his mongoloid.
All right. So you hit on, you know, tag partners leaving,
Mhm,
tag teams getting broke up for various reasons.
mhm,
You, you were in another, you know, solid tag team
mhm,
um, during the 2012, 2013 ish time
mhm,
period
mhm.
over at Flatline,
Right,
which traveled a little bit with Wade Adams,
right.
International Incident.
Mhm.
But that didn't really go too well for you.
Um, it did go well at first. Um, the way that actually started was when I first I got in touch with me and Caleb Kitchens actually worked together at our jobs together, and he told me he helped ran a local fed called Flatline Pro Wrestling. And I said, hey, let me come back and let me come back and check out that show, see if I can get on it. So I went over there and checked it out, and I met Wade Adams. He's doing the Canadian gimmick. And I was all like, I was thinking about doing like a Norwegian gimmick. So let me get with him, see what he thinks about if he's doing anything. And I asked him, I said, are you doing anything right now, like uh, creative wise? He said, nah, I'm pretty much just put me in a match now, and I wrestle that match. I said, well, okay, well, let me make let me said, do you mind tagging together? And he said, yeah, let's see what we can do. And when they put, I went to Kitchens and Wiggins about it, and they loved the idea. So they put us against Fireman and Morgan, Mor I forgot his name.
McNeil.
But there they go. Yeah, Morgan McNeil. And first match together as International Incident, we main event a flatline show. And I'm sitting there like, okay, that's cool. And we did good. Crowd hated us. Um, was they were behind firemen, and it was a good match. Now, granted, it is the only match that I've ever had in my whole professional career that I've gotten a concussion in. If you actually watch the match where fireman kicks me in the head, I crumple. And that's me actually getting a concussion. I roll out of the ring, and you got David Yale coming around the ring, looking at me and going, "Hey, are you okay?" And I look him dead in the eye and go, "No, I'm not okay." He goes, "Well,
Ooh.
great. Now get back in the ring." And I'm like, "Are you serious right now? I can barely think right now." But yeah, that was actually that's the start of the international incident, and we started. Um, it was going and going and going. Now, granted, we didn't win a lot of matches. I think of all the matches we won, we only won one. But as international incident, we didn't really need to win because we were already over as heels. I mean, we were hated, and the crowd loved to hate us. And I mean, we had me and Wade. At first, it was like a rocky start because we were trying to get each other's feel with our chemistry, and then it kind of started snowballing, and then finally we kind of clicked.
Right.
And then a little bit down the line, uh, we um, we started going outside the flat line. I think we only had one match outside the flat line. That was at Diamond Pro, which again we faced totally insane. Which it was a good match. I think there were some things that we could have worked on, but other than that, it was a decent match.
All right. And then, you, you know, they tried to expand from a tag team
Hmm.
to an all-out faction
Hmm.
with the addition of John Pierre and Tommy Pinarelli.
Yeah.
How did that sit with you?
Um, adding Jean Pierre made sense because they were already telling me that that's what they were going to do. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. I mean, we can do kind of like a shield kind of because that was the big thing going on at the time. Um, but adding Tommy Pinarelli, which I have nothing against him. nothing at all. I mean, I respect the guy. I've actually talked to him many times. They just randomly add him in there, and they had I think that 14 tag team match, and they just pretty much put me to the side and then add Tommy there, and I'm all like, "What in the world? What? Why? Like, when were you going to tell me about this?" Because whether they admit it or not, International Incident was my idea. It was 100% mine. Um, people can dispute that all they want, but they know for a fact that that's actually my idea. But when you start changing things and not um, communicating with the people who actually started the team, or people in the actual team, as opposed to just one person and hope for the best, hope it reaches the other person. I thought it was a little bit disrespectful. Um, and could they gone a better way of letting me know about this? Absolutely, but they didn't do it. But that's neither here or there. But it's so it is what it is, unfortunately. But did it sit well with me at first? No, absolutely not. I was actually very, very vivid. No, actually, I was very pissed off uh, that kind of that happened, and I would actually contact people and say, hey, what happened? Like, why wasn't I told about this? And they would say um, that they've already had this already in plan, and them into adding Tommy into International Incident, and this is just like pretty much the start of it. I was like, okay, well, when you're going to let me know about it? Didn't hear anything back from that, but that was pretty much the end of that. Um, and then towards going into 2013, 2014, um, I noticed that didn't stop getting I stopped getting booked with Wade. Wade was doing his singles thing, but he was a representative of International Incident. But I think I started seeing the writings on the wall, unfortunately, at the time. But
Mm.
I really don't know what was going on around that time frame.
So was Mikey Galino? When did he get added into the
He got in.
mix?
He got added at towards the end of our run as International Incident, which I love the guy. The guy's fantastic. He's a great manager. And like you said in your previous podcast, I wish we got it done. I wish we got to do a lot more as International Incident, or as me and Mikey, um, because I think me and him had a lot of very good chemistry together. Like you said, we know how to yell at a crowd together.
Right.
Um, so yeah.
All right, and so you start getting booked less. Are you just managing pretty much, or are you just staying in the locker room, or not
With
coming,
flatline,
or
with
yeah?
with flatline. I now that I think about it, I would actually contact people, like Caleb, Wiggins, and say, hey, well, are we doing anything with me? And I wouldn't hear anything. Um, so I mean, I'm not gonna waste. I'm not gonna waste time and money just to go up there and say, hey, my booked, and they tell me no, and I'll just turn around and go home. So I mean, I stopped coming at after a while, which kind of irked me because the last match I had at Flatline, the last legit match I had with Flatline, was the international incident. It was against the Game Boys, Jeremy Cruz and Adrian Davis, and it was a well received match. Granted, not every match is going to be 100%, but it was a good, solid match, in my opinion. The crowd was into it. We were having so much fun, and then all of a sudden, it just came to a full abrupt stop.
And you mentioned Jeremy Cruz. He's another one that eventually just wasn't there anymore either. Do
Mhm.
you do you think maybe that they just decided to cut half of their backbone out in order to bring in the new talent from North Carolina, the PWX guys, the Anarchy guys, the Florida guys?
Um, I can't really speak on that. But and I think they pretty much they came when I asked whether or not did we make somebody upset? Did we do something wrong? I was told that we had over 40 people on the roster and we couldn't put everybody in the match. And I'm sitting there like 40 people, and I pretty much went down the list of who all we had, um, who was active, like who was always at the show, who was always on the card, and that number came nowhere near 40. So, I mean, did I feel like I was being slighted? Yes, but if a person doesn't book you, they don't book you. I mean, there's like a legion of other feds that you can possibly go to, but you know, I was very I was upset that I got pushed to the wayside. But you got to do what you got to do. I mean, if Fed doesn't book you, the Fed doesn't book you, and you got to go do your own thing.
Right. Which, pretty much similar story to kind of what I did.
Mhm.
Um, Not in exact terms, but similar.
Yeah.
Um, what was one of your favorite moments that you did have at Flatline?
Um, my favorite moments would be it was me and Wade versus Ken Lee and the Fireman. I thought that was a very good match in my opinion. It flowed so well. It was so good. We came to the back and there's Hexon in the corner just clapping. And he goes, "All right, boys, let's see if y'all can follow that." And so we got the crowd so hot that the rest of the show, that he goes, "There you go. We set the bar for y'all. Y'all go ahead and you know make the show the best we possibly can." And I mean, it was a very good feel good moment. And to me, that was the best part of me being at Flatline.
What did you go on to do after the booking stopped at Flatline?
What did I want to do or
Well, no. What did you do?
I concentrated heavily more on SCW
Mm,
and let's see, that was around 2014. So that was around the time where I started talking to Murdoch, and we started gathering ideas what we could possibly do together. And I started tweaking my gimmick a little bit more. I started leaning going away the Norwegian side of the gimmick. Started becoming what it is now, the nefarious one, Karl Hager. Um, Actually, it didn't start. It didn't. I didn't start 100% become the nefarious one, Carl Hager, until after GPA stopped. Until GPA ended, and then that's when it became full blown nefarious one, Carl Hager.
okay. So, as of right now, what places are you looking at right now?
Um, I was at Explosive Pro, but um, they they kind of stopped doing shows for some reason. I am looking to see about getting back to AWN. Um, I did a show for Southern Fried Championship Wrestling. Um, I'll just leave that at that because I mean I didn't have, to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't have a very good time there. I almost got injured like in a very 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 bad way. Little history here. I took a superplex off the top rope and then landed awkwardly,
Hmm.
and pinched a nerve in my lower back. So and I was out for about a good almost a month. Um, I actually rolled up there with Cameron Cade for that match. But outside of that, I'm trying to get up to North Carolina and Florida. Um, I did a show in Gadsden fairly recently, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, that was at TWE, the Wrestling Experience. Um, Other than that, anywhere that I could possibly get booked now, I would like to try Tennessee, see what happens there. But anything that comes my way, I mean, I'll be sure to examine it and see what we can do.
And plenty of promotions in the Tennessee
Mm-hmm.
Georgia area even.
Mm-hmm.
Even some up in North Carolina. I know the Western North Carolina at least is
Mm-hmm.
starting to pop up with several promotions in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you get involved going from taking bookings to end up working on Bushido?
Um, Can I was traveling with Cameron Cade at the time, and I noticed all these Bushido signs all over Facebook, and I was like, "What is this? Is it just like because I don't know if you're aware that the strong style sponsorship that's going around with many work professional wrestlers here in the South in the
Yeah.
CSRA. I thought it was something like that at first. I thought it was just like a little sponsorship thing going on, and then I noticed Cameron was like putting a lot of them up. I go, what is this? Is this like a Fed or something? And he goes, yeah, it's a show that I'm starting help producing. I said, okay, well that's cool. How do I get up on that? He goes, well, the show's already booked and what kind of idea he had for the show, but uh, backstage stuff that he wanted some help in, and like okay, well, I kind of do want to know like the other aspects of the business, so let's see what we can do. So me and Kid it off of that from there.
And out of that, you got to attend the Cedric Alexander seminar,
Hmm.
which was pretty big. How'd that go for you?
To me, and I hate saying this, basically, when I don't know what happened is when I started training with Cedric and all the people that showed up doing moves right now, and all of a sudden everything started shutting down. Like my chest started hurting and whatnot. And normally, I mean, I'll be doing fine. It's just for some reason, like everything started seizing up, so I had to sit out for a second. I was like, okay, I think I'm okay. And then I go again, and everything, and it started just right back up again. I'm like, and I was getting very, very, very pissed off at myself because I waited months for this, and then it's something like this is happening. It's pretty much ruining the experience. So you know, I apologized to him, and he said, "No, no, it's fine." He's like, "Stuff like this happens. Just as long as you're okay, uh, that's all that matters." But still, I felt I let myself down. I felt I let Cedric down, and 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 to the eyes of others, it seemed like I was just like a weak link.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, injuries happen, stuff happens, and I watched, and that was some intense working out there that they were doing.
Hmm.
I'm not sure I personally would have made it through the first stages of it.
Yeah,
That was some intense stuff.
yeah. From all intents and purposes, I asked. I said, "Okay, from the stuff that I did, because I finished the move segments. Um, but they said everything was top notch. Like intensity was there, you know, facial expressions, selling, all the good stuff was all there. But then everything just like shut down when our chest started hurting, like couldn't hardly breathe, and so on and so forth.
Mm. So outside of wrestling,
Hmm.
what do you do to keep yourself busy?
Um, my 3-year-old son, he, he keeps me
Okay.
busy. He keeps me busy all the time. That jujitsu, that keeps me very busy. That's my sport outside of wrestling. Um, Other than that, that's pretty much it. Unlike the other people that you probably talk to, I don't really spend a lot of time on video games. I used to, but with having a kid, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and then working on a third shift, um, you have very very little time to actually do stuff like that. I wish I did have more time to do it, but you got to manage your time correctly, or it's pretty much you're just wasting time.
All right. How long have you been doing the jiu-jitsu?
Started in 2008, and then I kind of stopped in 2011 to about 2012. I want to say, is it 12 or 13? I had like a 2-year break because Excuse me. I moved from Florida to Georgia, and I didn't know any of the gyms around here. So when I went to Grubel's, which to me that was a bad decision, but that's neither here or there. Um, I got back into it, and then I went to another gym that's nearby called at the time it's called Gracie Barra Jiu Jitsu. Now it's called Augusta Jiu Jitsu. And I've been there since. And that place seemed like my first gym that I ever went to, and I like that, and I've been sticking with it and I've been there for about 2 years now. So
Okay.
everything's going good.
Um, do they have belt ranks there, or?
They do. They do. It's white, blue, purple, brown, and black. And then once you start going higher than that, then it becomes coral, then red, and then red. But to get to red, you're gonna. I'm probably gonna be like 70 years old by the time I get to there. But
Okay. All right. We'll play a little name association
okay,
with you. I'll throw out a name. You throw out the first thing that comes to mind. It doesn't have to be one word. Just
hmm
first. It could be a story or
okay,
anything of that nature.
okay.
All right. Jeremy Cruz.
Fun guy. I love working with the guy. Uh, his whale punch, his big show punch, kills me every time, every time. But I love working with him. He's a very fun guy. I hope we get to do more stuff in the future.
All right. Eric Thompson.
Mr. Sleaze. Okay. Me and him actually met each other at SCW. Um, I thought he was just a goofy character. At first, I thought he was just like ripping off Joey Ryan. Um, which I thought was kind of strange. Why would you do that? Um, but after a while, getting to know him, and his little daughter, him and his daughter Zoe, um, he's a great guy. I've worked with him many a times, and we just have these like straight up comedy matches. It's fantastic. But again, I mean, I wish I would see more of him. I just haven't seen him in a while.
All right. Daniel Main.
Daniel Main. Um, the owner of of Flatline, right?
Right.
The him, businessman. I rarely talked to him when I was at Flatline, except hey, what do you need me to do? And that's about it. So it was pretty much straight business. So outside of that, I couldn't tell you much.
All right. Kinley.
Ken Lee. When I first met Ken Lee, and he probably gets this a lot. I thought he was a douche. Um, but I think that's the aura that he perceives out first to test to see how you react, and then he starts warming up to you. Since then, me and him got along quite well. We talk frequently at shows like what we're doing, and I've worked him like probably twice. I actually worked him on a one-on-one at Livewire at your last the BAM Memorial Show.
Right.
Uh, which we had a little prep time, and we just went in there. We just pretty much just did what what we wanted to do in there. Um, I'd like to actually work with him a lot more. I think he's a great guy. Uh, he reminds me, and I know he gets us a lot. He reminds me of Kenna, like
Uh,
Kenta, like, or no, we can't say Kenta anymore. We gotta say Hideo Itami now.
right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
so
Gotta go by the WWE names
yeah,
now.
think about the WWE name. Kenta no longer exists.
Cameron Cade.
My traveling buddy. Hey, Cameron gets a lot of flack, and I don't understand. I mean, I do understand, and I don't understand it. Does he burn? Does it seem like he burns bridges? Of all his posts on Facebook, I would say yes. But um, once you get to talk to Cameron, I mean, he's a great guy. You know, I never had a problem with him. But I guess other people do. People think he's a dick, but sometimes you got to be a dick to get to survive in this business. But You know, I mean, I don't have to be, but that's what Cameron Cate does. But he's an all in all, he's a great guy. Uh, I like traveling with him. I learned a lot of things from him. Um, he helps me. We got like a business arrangement going on. He helps me, I help him. Um, like Bushido, or if he got me on a number of shows up in like what's it called in Alabama. Got me at Southern Fried. Not to say, I'm to say he's helped me out a lot the past couple of years. So yeah, great guy.
Okay. David Coleman.
Oh, Coleman. Um, he let's see, what can I say, Coleman? He's a fantastic wrestler. When he took that Korean fly from Ken Lee, I thought he actually killed himself. I mean, it was like the greatest thing in the world. I mean, not that he could kill himself, but the way he sold it, the way his matches were. I mean, for a guy his size, I mean, the guy can move. Um, I mean, I wish that injury didn't take him out because I would have liked to work him some more. Um, but yeah, the matches that we did have pretty good chemistry. We actually, me and him and David Yell actually had a three man three-way dance at APW States World, I think it was. I
Okay.
know State World's a fan. I don't know if it actually was in States World. Um, but we went in there and we took that big Tower of Doom move from the top rope, and the whole crowd just like gasped. It was fantastic.
Charlie Anarchy.
That's my guy. Chandler, Char, when I first met Charlie, I mean he seemed kind of off-putting, but again, like Ken Lee, I think that he gives off that aura to test you out. But I mean, he'll mess with you if he likes you. When he does mess with me a lot. So no, I like talking to him about wrestling. Me and him traveled a couple places, XPW some, but yeah, he's one of my favorite guys here in this CSRA.
All right. Professor Murdoch.
Oh, that's my brother. That's my brother. Uh, I love the guy. The guy. Like we pretty much tore up the tag team scene in Georgia and South Carolina. Granted, it was only a couple places, but still, wherever we went, we made sure that crowd hated us from the moment we walked out of the curtain to the moment we walked in the back. Fantastic times, probably the best times I ever had in wrestling.
All right. Last one. Mikey Galino.
Uh, Big Papa Bear Galena.
Uh,
Um, I love the guy. His mannerisms, his voice, the voice that he gives out, the whole beat him down, just kills me. Um, the match where he was with Effie, when he was managing Effie. I'm sitting there in the middle of the ring doing ring announcing, and then he comes out with that, and I can't even keep a straight face. I try so hard to keep a straight face, and I can't do it. He's that good. He's that good to actually get you so entertained. Um, and pairing him up with Effie, the universe might as well implode at that time.
yeah, I found it pretty difficult to keep a straight face throughout the entire match, to be honest. Like, if this match is ever released on a DVD or anything, people are going to be entertained by this one. I can tell you that.
Or the Zane Riley Effie Gibbs match.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it went in a totally different direction where I thought it was gonna go. I honestly did. I'm sitting there like, what is going on?
Oh, man. It was great.
It reminded me if this was in Chikara, it would make sense.
Yeah. But, that's part of the whole thing about Bushido. They had something, a little bit something for everyone.
It,
And that match was, you know, prime example. It
Yeah, yeah,
stuck out.
yeah. I mean, there were some people that didn't like it, but then you get some people that are like really traditionalists. They're like, yeah, they spit upon it on the sport. Well, you know what? That's their gimmick. That's what they do. I mean, it's straight comical stuff. I mean, Zayn Riley. When do you have you seen Zayn Riley have a serious match?
I wouldn't say straight, but I mean,
But I
just
mean, yeah, but well, when you try to come up with words for that match, you might as well just stop. You can't do
oh yeah, yeah. It was good though. It was entertaining, which is part of the job. Which I think.
it. Yeah, which going back to that match, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, we've dealt with the Effie Gibbs before.
Oh
That
yeah.
oh my God, that guy. I mean, his promos, his charisma, and everything. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen in a while. I mean,
Uh,
if he doesn't get signed or picked up any in the next 2 to 3 years, I'll be shocked.
yeah.
So, like Jakara or something like that, he would do fantastic there. Um, but we'll see how far that goes. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely hoping for big things out of Effie in the near future.
Yeah.
Do you have any final comments towards anybody, social media or anything like that?
Um. Yeah. I'd like to thank. First off, Sanelia. I cannot pronounce her last name. But she recently made my gear for me for the my new singlet. Shout out to her. She actually was very very good. So, you can actually find her up on my Facebook. So if you're looking for new gear, if you're hearing this, try to look her up. Or get in touch with me. I'll hook you up with her. Um, Shout out to Professor Murdoch wherever he may be, Charleston. Um, Hope everything's going good for him. Uh, Wade Adams, man, I miss you, little buddy. Um, Mikey, keep doing what you're doing. Uh, uh, Other than that, okay, you know, this past weekend was a blast. I hope we can do it again soon. Billy, thanks for having me here. Um, but other than that, if you people who are listening to this, if you wish to book the Nefarious One Carl Hager, you can reach me on Facebook or you can reach me at Twitter at N1 Carl Hager. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got to say on that.
All right. This has been the Rainstorm with Ryan Rain and this week's special guest, Karl Hager.